Guys, there are so many jokes here. I'm going to try to do this with a straight face. Now, in most scenarios, regardless of what anybody tells you, bigger is always better. And Streamlight stuck with that mantra when they released a few years back the Wedge series of EDC flashlights. This model being 5.5 inches overall length and having a very unique switch, which took inspiration from OTF pocket knives, where you push forward, the knife deploys, you pull back, and it goes back into the handle. In the same concept, this switch, you push all the way forward, it blasts 1,000 lumens at whatever adversary or object you're pointing it at, and then you pull it back and it turns itself off. But for some, 5.5 inches is a lot of real estate to be taken up in your pocket. And so recently they've released the Wedge XT, which stands for extra tiny. I don't know if it stands for extra tiny, but we're going to roll with it in this video. And what they've done are a few things. Not only cutting 1.5 inches off the body, they've cut the lumen count in half and deleted this unique style of switch and added a tail switch instead. And so in today's video, we're gonna find out if this change in features and more compact size makes sense by not only running in some tried and true favorites like the Streamlight MicroStream, as well as some heavy hitters like the Olight Arcfeld series, as well as seeing how waterproof this exposed USB-C charger is. So guys, thanks for hanging with me today. If you're new to the channel, I'm Aaron, this is Gideonstactical. Let's go ahead and hop on over to the workbench and unpack this light. First thing I want to hit is this switch change. What do I think about it? Good, bad, or indifferent? I think it's a bad move. I'm going to be honest. The bad move, and here's why. That's what made this special to me, is that I could pull this out, boom, push forward, I got 1,000 lumens, ready to rock and roll, very ergonomic, quickest activation almost that you can have, whereas this one, you have to pull out, then you have to manipulate to then get in a reverse and activate. You just tap it, you can hold it, and then if you double tap, you're gonna go to the low setting. Now these are programmable, so you could rotate that for some reason if you wanted low first, then high. There's also a button lockout mode. You have to do it like, I don't know, like 4 and then hold, and then you do it again 5 times and it unlocks it. So something just to be aware of that you can lock out this button. But it just kind of becomes like a standard, like, okay, whatever, like every other freaking light that I own almost in some capacity, any tail switch light. What's the deal? Like, what's the diff? Who cares, right? So immediately to me, it took away some of the ergonomic capability. Now, the only area where this switch, there's 2 factors. One, I wish they would have updated and just added to this, is that the only way where I could see this being a problem is if you are wanting to clear a house and hold it in a reverse area, right? So you got to push forward and you have to keep putting tension on the switch for that 1,000 lumens, and then after 35 seconds, it's gonna drop down to 300, which is the low anyway. And then if you let go, it drops itself to 300 no matter what anyway and goes to the center mode. I think that's a miss, and what that would mean is you activate it, then if you rotate and now we're clearing, right, a house, I cannot manipulate this switch. It's very weird and awkward. I can't turn it off easily if I needed to, you know, block it out for a second. I can't go back into burst mode. Like, it doesn't work that way. Only in the standard grip does this light and switch work. Now, if they had fixed that so there wasn't a spring and it's just like push forward, click, now it's on high. You put it to center, that's low. Put it back, that's off. Then I think, and then done that on this model, the XT model, I think that would have been a win for me, and I would have really been pumped about the design. But leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about these 2 switches and their variations, and which one do you prefer between the 2 in switch activation and layout. And guys, if you're enjoying this type of content, I do invite you to hit that like button and to consider subscribing to the channel, making sure to hit the bell icon so that you can be notified every single week when I put up new gear, videos, content, concepts to help you guys better stay equipped and prepared for whatever life throws your way. Now, I think the pocket clips, though well designed like a knife pocket clip, very, very well done, deep ride, loop over, not too crazy, got decent amount of tension, but it doesn't have any sort of way to attach because it's not a double loop over like both other Streamlights that we have here, you know, getting the double loop so you could put it on the bill of a hat. I think that it could have easily had that. You know, the Olights we're going to look at in a moment, they all have something similar, you know, so you're not going to be able to attach this to anything on its own like the bill of a hat. But if you have one of these NITE flashlight straps, it's just a piece of nylon with some Velcro and then 2 elastic positioning straps that you can run different size flashlights through, and then you can still do hands-free illumination with this flashlight. I think everybody should have one of these straps in their EDC kit. They're ultra slim and lightweight. They're between $5 and $10, and they'll fit most modern small to medium sized flashlights. So there'll be a link in the description box below this video if you want to pick one up and throw it in your rotation. And the charging port is a USB-C, so that's nice. And that little thing, you know, you like turn it on. This is like your little communication area. Green is you're good to go. Red means it needs to be recharged. It'll be red when it's charging, green when it's ready to be, you know, taken care of. So those are good attributes right there. Let's see how the waterproof aspect works. Come back in 30 minutes. Okay, just about 30 minutes. Still going strong. So there you go, no issues on the waterproof IPX7 rating that it has. My main concern would be that it's just fully exposed and you could get like sand and grit and then you won't be able to fully engage the plug. Whereas if it had a little rubber gasket, that would just help with like particles and just blocking of the full engagement of the plug. So it's just something to kind of consider there. I think there are some people that do make little rubber gaskets. I wish that they just gave you a few, you know, just for those people who feel the need for that. So with that, I'm trying to figure out what else is really like interesting about this. I mean, yes, it has the cubular kind of, you know, not cylindrical design coming in at 0.6, which is right around the same thickness as its big brother. I mean, that's within, you know, margin of error right there. But if we look at like the micro stream right there, USB, same. So nothing fancy right there. It is going to be slightly slimmer than the macro stream. And again, we're going to talk some competitive like pricing and just like power outputs here in just a second. Here's the pro version of the Arcfeld from Olight within, you know, like very, very minimal amount there. So, okay, cool. Like what else am I getting here? 500 lumens at like 1900 candelas for 2 hours, and then low is going to be 50 lumens, I believe, for 11 hours. So, and 2 settings, that's it. That's all you got, no other features. For some, simplicity is fine, and that's, again, why I like the originals for the simplicity, but with the removal of that unique activation switch, and then at the price point, I mean, that's the other thing that we really got to consider. Both of these are within $5 of each other, and they go between 80 and 90 bucks. Depending on where you pick them up, either one of these models. That's definitely on the higher end, as I'm about to show you, compared to Streamlights. Pretty competitive to these Olights, but these Olights are way more powerful. So I will have links in the description box below this video over to the affiliate networks I regularly partner with for both of these models. So if you guys are interested, as well as the competitive options, and you do feel like, yes, this answered my questions, I'm ready to pull the trigger, always appreciate when you use those links provided below. It helps me get out, buy these types of tools, and continue to show you guys pros and cons to help you make wise choices. So for some food for thought here, if we run in the micro stream USB rechargeable, now it's only going to be 250 lumens max, but when you run them up next to each other, you could tell, you know, that the XT is slightly more powerful, but not by a lot. The switches are going to be in the same area. They operate very similarly. The micro stream is going to be slimmer profile overall. Going to give you that double loop over pocket clip operation, and I think they're like 40 bucks or less all day long. 40 bucks or less, USB rechargeable, and you're going to save half the money. And I'm going to argue that for close quarters situations inside a room, inside your garage, within the 21-foot rule that we know, you know, for like self-defense a lot and things like that, you're not going to see that much of a difference between 500 lumens and 250 lumens from these two devices. It'll be minimal between the two, and you can save yourself quite a bit of money. So unless the body style is making sense for you and you do just want that little bit extra punch and you're willing to pay almost double, if not more so, great. I mean, have at the XT, you know, Wedge, great. I'll run in here real fast just for another option. An example is the macro stream. Going to be about $50 to $55. Also, USB rechargeable right there. Squeeze that in place. You're going to get that double loop over pocket clip like we've been discussing right there. Again, tail switch. Going to have that same kind of feature. 500 lumens. That's 2,000 candelas, so 100 more. And I believe 50 lumens as well on the low. The low run time, the 500 is the same, 2 hours. but the low is going to be 8 hours and the Wedge is 11, I believe. So a little bit longer battery lifetime. Something to consider outside of like being $30 more though, is also that you can, remove and, replace batteries very easily with the macro stream. The battery, oh, that sounds horrible. You hear that? Ugh. Giving me like nails on a chalkboard. The battery is integrated into these Wedge models, and so you're gonna have to work with Streamlight if that battery was to ever fail, and die on you. Something was to happen, and it won't recharge itself and won't hold a charge. That's going to be fun, versus this is a lot easier to get replacements for, do what needs to be done, and obviously will save you a little bit more money and is going to have that very similar features. Again, I'm not seeing any benefit to the features of this when I run a macro stream, except that it's 0.2 inches thinner and going to cost me more. So something to consider there. Then we'll just go to just Dogpilot, right? Let's see here. Look at this arc. I'm doing a whole video soon on this whole series. This is the Arc Flex right there. Now, this is a cool switch. I like this. They could have done that, whereas I just hold it. Or maybe do I have to double tap? I'm trying to remember. Yes, double tap, and then I got high, which I think is dumb. You should have like a hold feature or something. So anyway, all the details in that. But that's a cool switch, nice and flush. They could have done something like that to kind of give us a variation of the two there. I think this one's like 80 bucks, if I remember correctly, so right in that same price range. That's the Flex again. Double loop over pocket clip, about the exact same diameter. They got their dumb proprietary charger though, so there's that. But that's gonna be like 1,000 lumens, if I remember off the top of my head. The Pro is going to be slightly larger, but it's going to not only have up to 1,300 lumens, has a green laser, as well as a UV light. So that, and I believe these are like, I think these are about 100 or 120. I can't remember. So slightly more, obviously, but you can see those Arcfeld Pros, I believe is how you're saying that, is kind of in between those three there, and that switch is up near your hand again. Now, it's not as fast. You got to do a bunch of manipulation and kind of goofy, and you got to kind of learn it, but it's up near the front, and I like that for this style of light. So I'm having a hard time understanding where this would fit in, particularly at that price. Now, if they had cut that price some, and then this was like, say, 65 bucks, and I'd be like, okay, that's making a little more sense, and very competitive, and pretty comparative to what like the macro stream is, and slimmer. So okay, I get it. But at that same price, my opinion, this is where I sit with this. I'm not digging it. I'm not going to regularly carry it. There's nothing that this really benefits me to compared to my entire other collection. So guys, that's me and my mileage on the Wedge, and particularly the Wedge XT version and edition. Leave comments below and let me know your guys' thoughts on these two models and just your take overall. Always appreciate your guys' feedback. Thanks for hanging with me today. Check out the other video popping up, and I do invite you to subscribe. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.